So, Watley's still Jewish, huh?
Oh, sure, without the parents, it's a breeze. Hi, I'm Jerry.
Hi.
You might not know it to look at me, but I can run really, really fast.
It's a card from my dad.
What is it? Dear son, happy Festivus? What is Festivus?
It's nothing. It's nothing.
When George was growing
Jerry,
up,
no.
his father
No.
hated all the commercial and religious aspects of Christmas,
Yeah.
so he made up his own holiday.
Oh, and another piece of the puzzle falls into place.
All right.
And instead of a tree, didn't your father put up an aluminum pole?
Jerry,
No.
stop it.
And then weren't there feats of strength that always ended up with you crying?
Can't take it anymore. I'm going to work. You happy now?
Happy Festivus to our viewers today. Full of airing of grievances and feats of strength as we start off December 23rd, 2021. Any big plans today, Ryan, for Festivus?
Oh yeah, I'm actually gonna go and air my grievances to everyone I know, and then I don't really have a feat of strength though. I don't know about that. It was waking up and doing a morning episode. That was my feat of strength. We've never done a morning episode.
No, we haven't. I would agree with that one. But as we welcome you, and I don't know if we pitched this on December 6th, because it might not have been an idea in the hopper yet, but this is the Festivus College Football Bowl special. So all we are is solely talking about the college football bowls. And I don't know, this will probably be it until the new year, I'd say. Would you agree with that, or do you think we'll record next week?
I think we're taking that week off. This will be because we'll do this one and then the mega episode for this
Yep.
week, and that'll be that.
And then we'll see you after the new year.
Yeah.
That's how it'll be. So we're going to run through all the big bowls here, the big bowls that basically take place on the 29th, 30th, 31st, and New Year's Day. So we'll begin bowl preview part 1, Alamo Bowl, Oregon versus Oklahoma. Who you got there?
I think, okay, so I'm not very high on Oregon. You know, they've lost to a lot of teams. And by
They
a lot,
beat
I mean
Ohio
Utah 3 times. Not 3 times, 2 times. And both in pretty bad fashion. But Oklahoma did just lose Lincoln Riley and their whole coaching system. So I think there's 2 ways to look at this. You can see are they going to bounce back, or you could look at it as, you know, maybe they're going to fall apart. Now, it's Caleb Williams officially the starter now that Rattler transferred. So I think I'm going to give Oklahoma the win here, but I wouldn't be shocked if Oregon pulled it out. But isn't Thibodeau or whatever his name, the really good dude from Oregon that's the edge?
Defensive line?
Yeah, he's not playing, is he?
I do not know that information. You have to look it up. I would say, well, both these teams are actually in coaching chaos because Mario Cristobal has already left for Miami, and like you said, Lincoln Riley's already at USC. I'm gonna side with Oklahoma because, Bob Stoops is coming in to be the interim head coach for the bowl game. So I think he's he'll bring in his knowledge and his experience and rally those troops to
Thibodeau's
win.
skipping the bowl game.
Okay, Thibodeau's gone for the bowl. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma as well. I think it'll be a good one to watch, though. And I think, Oregon is an interesting team, to say the least. They beat Ohio State, then lost to Utah both times. But it's interesting. It's interesting, to say the least. If I can get the schedule off real quick here. Alamo Bowl, and that is on, hold on, we're finding it. And the Alamo Bowl, that's going to close out on the 29th. That closes the night out on the 29th.
6 days.
9:15. So, yes, 6 days, 9:15, or Oklahoma is favored by 4.5 right now.
Nice.
All right, our next bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Michigan State versus Pittsburgh. I'm sure nobody knows who I'm going to pick here.
Yeah, that's a tough one actually for me because I like what Michigan State's got going on, but I do like Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh. So
But we have to include that both Kenneth Walker and Kenny Pickett are not playing. So that changes the high.
I'm going to be honest, I forgot. I knew Kenneth wasn't. I forgot that Kenny wasn't playing.
Yes.
So I guess I'm going to go with Michigan State because I think without Pickett that Pittsburgh can't get it done. That's my thought.
I'm going to go, obviously, I'm going to be a homer here and go with Sparty. I think they're going to have their playmaker and Jalen Naylor back on the outside, so they'll have both outside receivers there. And now Kenny Pickett, I don't know who the quarterback will be. What's your
I
quarterback?
mean, they've had him for 5 years. He was the starter for 5 years because he did the super senior.
Yes, and he broke Dan Marino's career record for touchdowns, which he got an extra year to do. So let's just not let's not put it out there that he's, better than Dan Marino. But I think Michigan State can still run the ball even without Kenneth. They have a couple decent running backs. As long as the line can block, I think they can control the line of scrimmage. But that should be a good one. And that is on Thursday, December 30th, 7 o'clock. Right now, Sparty's favored by 2.5.
Nice.
Less than a field goal. So, all right, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Tax Slayer. Nice.
Wake Forest versus Texas A&M. Now, here's the problem, folks. And I got to make sure this is correct. Yes, Texas A&M has COVID issues, so they're out. And they will not be playing in the bowl, so they have to get an opponent for Wake Forest. So what's your reaction there?
I think Wake Forest has been an upset team, the whole year. So I don't care who they really play because I was going to take them over Texas A&M anyway, and their opponent's probably not going to be better than Texas A&M.
Right.
So I'm going to take Wake Forest regardless. It's Wake Forest or the field, essentially. I'm taking Wake Forest.
Which, I don't know, if you if there's no team that plays you, do you automatically get the win and the forfeit and you get the trophy? I don't know. There's those cash. Isn't it you get paid to win the bowl or something like that? Isn't that how?
I don't know I'm not sure.
I don't either. So, I wasn't really too high on Wake Forest after they played Pittsburgh. I thought their quarterback looked awful. And he threw, I think, 3 interceptions that game in the ACC championship.
Yeah.
And he just didn't look pretty. So, if I got to take the field or Wake Forest, I'm going to take the field.
All right.
All
right.
I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Real quick, just a quick plug. Did you know that Jimmy Kimmel has his own bowl game?
Really?
Yes.
What is it?
I'm pretty sure it's the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, but I don't know
what
it is. Yes. Let me see if it's been played. I don't think it has. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it was Utah State, Oregon State. Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, presented by Stifle.
What the heck? That's wild. Out of all people to have a bowl game.
Yeah, I'd rather.
I mean, nothing against Jimmy Kimmel, I guess, but
I'd rather have Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, me too. I mean, yeah, all right.
Hey, think about this.
Or like Conan. Like Conan's the biggest out of those.
No.
I'm just saying he's the biggest name.
No.
He's been on there the longest.
No.
All right, whatever. I'm just saying he's probably the one that has made the most money from it.
No, I guess active, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying out of the active guys.
Well, he's not active anymore. He's done.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I'm saying he was around longest, so it makes the most sense out of talk show host for it to be him.
He got kind of screwed out of that deal for the Tonight Show.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying is he seemed like the one that would have his own, but
right, maybe.
It's
you got to think about this. Out of the late night hosts, there are 3 Jimmys or James. You have Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and James Corden. Isn't that
and James Colbert.
No, that's Stephen Colbert.
Thank you. Wow, I'm telling you, the morning episode's really screwing me up. Stephen Colbert.
Gotta get your brain to warm up.
James Colbert. Goodness.
Well,
At least I got the last name right.
Stephen Colbert. James Colbert. I like that one. I'm pulling that one out later.
Yeah.
Anyway, our next one, Tony the Tiger's Sun Bowl, Washington State versus Miami, Florida.
I think it'd be fun if Miami was good again. Like, the Hurricanes used to be kind of a big deal. But I'm going to take Washington State because I don't think they're very good anymore. So,
well, right now both teams have record 7-5 in this bowl, and the line is even for this game. So obviously it's a very 50-50 matchup. See, I don't know what's going on with Miami, Florida, because Mario Cristobal, as is hired there. Manny Diaz has already been fired. So is he coaching in the bowl game there? I don't know. Is Eric King playing? I think so. So I'm going to go with Miami because of that reason. I'm not that high on Washington State. I'm pretty sure they had some turmoil there because their head coach, because of the vaccine mandate in the state of Washington, he didn't get it, so he was fired. So then that team kind of went into a tumble there. So I don't know. I think both these teams are in disarray. So it's kind of I think it's a true line, even 50-50. You just don't know what you're going to do here. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to stick with Miami, Florida, and just see what happens.
All right.
All right, the Outback Bowl. Penn State versus Arkansas.
So this is a tough one because I think Arkansas is a little better than their record shows. I mean, they had a close game against Alabama. I'm not forgetting that. All right,
No,
make
you're
sure.
not forgetting that.
So I think Arkansas could definitely get the upset, but Penn State's looked pretty good all year.
It was 42-35, by the way. 42-35. Alabama.
I think I'm going to take Penn State, but I could definitely see an Arkansas upset.
I'm going to go with you on Penn State as well.
Okay.
And maybe it's just because I'm Big Ten heavy, but I'm going to go with Penn State. I think James Franklin will be ready to coach his team up. Right now, Penn State favored by 1. This game is the noon game on New Year's Day, and I think they'll be ready to go. I think Clifford will be healthy again, which will help him out. And as long as it's not snowing a million inches like it was in East Lansing last time I watched Penn State play, probably will help him out. So, and now on the part 2 of Festivus.
I got your message. I haven't celebrated Festivus in years. What is your interest?
Well, just tell me everything, huh?
Many Christmases ago, I went to buy a doll for my son. I reached for the last one they had, but so did another man. As I rained blows upon him, I realized there had to be another way.
What happened to the doll?
It was destroyed. But out of that, a new holiday was born. A Festivus for the rest of us.
Well, that must have been some kind of doll.
She was. And at the Festivus dinner, you gather your family around and tell them all the ways they have disappointed you over the past year.
And is there a tree?
No, instead there's a pole. Requires no decoration. I find tinsel distracting.
Frank, this new holiday of yours is scratching me right where I itch.
Let's do it then.
All right.
Festivus is back! I'll get the pole out of the crawl's face.
Oh, Frank.
Hello, woman.
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Tim.
What's up?
Actually, I'm having dinner with a girl I met at your party.
Mazel tov.
Jerry. Hi.
When?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Come on, our table's ready.
So attractive one day, not attractive the next.
Have you come across this?
Yes, I am familiar with this syndrome. She's a two-face.
Like the Batman villain?
If that helps you.
So if I ask her out again, I don't know who's showing up, the good, the bad, or the ugly.
Clint Eastwood!
And we're back for Bowl Preview Part 2 to continue on New Year's Day. The biggest bowl games of the nature that are not part of the college football playoff. So first we start off with the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, Oklahoma State against Notre Dame. Who you got there?
I'm going to take Oklahoma State. I think they were a potential playoff level team. Granted, they did lose to Baylor, but I think Baylor's probably better than Notre Dame. I think these are two of the best teams that didn't make the playoff. It's going to be a pretty close game, but I'm not super high on Notre Dame's offense, so I'm going to take Oklahoma State.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I think I see stability there with them hiring Marcus Freeman, just elevating him up. So I think that they'll be ready to go and ready to play.
That's a good point.
I think Jack Cohn will be ready to go. It's going to be his last game, I believe, as a college athlete. Quarterback for Notre Dame. Used to be Wisconsin's quarterback where he transferred over. So I think that they'll be ready to go. Oklahoma State, really, if you look at their schedule of who they played, they really didn't play anybody. They beat Baylor once early on in the season. And then they didn't play anybody until they played Oklahoma, where they edged out one there. I listened to that on the radio on the way home from Michigan State. And then they got beat by Baylor in the end. So I don't know if they've really had that really top-line resume. I could say the same thing about Notre Dame, though. They haven't beaten really anybody.
Yeah, and they lost to Cincinnati.
They just consistently won. So I think it's a very good matchup. This is New Year's Day, 1 o'clock. And Notre Dame right now is favored by 2. But I think I really want to go with Notre Dame. So I'm going to stick with my guns on Notre Dame. But you're giving me a convincing argument on Oklahoma State.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you points for that.
Thank you.
All right. Our next one, the Verbo Citrus Bowl, Iowa versus Kentucky. Who you got there?
This one also reminds me of that Arkansas-Penn State game where, like, I know Iowa's good, but Kentucky had some upsets early on in the year. So Kentucky could definitely get the upset. But I think I'll go Iowa. Just because I think they are overall the better team. It's just if Kentucky was rolling into this game, then they could win it. But I don't think Kentucky has that energy they had before.
I'm going to go with Kentucky.
All right.
And we haven't really sided together too much today. Kentucky right now, this is also a 1 o'clock game on New Year's Day. Kentucky favored by a field goal. The reason I'm going to choose Kentucky is that Iowa has no offense.
That's
so
true. Their offense
at some
is
point
bad.
you got to score. And we saw in the Big Ten championship game that Michigan kept pounding the ball on them, and their rushing defense cracked. And that's what Kentucky's going to do with Mark Stoops. So I'm going to say that Kentucky's going to pound the ball with Rodriguez, and you're going to see them go off play action with Levis, and that's going to be able to get them. And their defense is pretty stout as well. So I'm looking forward to that game. It's going to be a good one. All right. The Rose Bowl, presented by Capital One Venture X. Utah versus Ohio State. Who you got?
Oh, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I think I'm going to have to go Utah. They've been getting all the upset. I mean, this is like the perfect matchup, to be honest. I think it's a good – they really get a good one here, guys, and this will be a good game. The only thing is, if we'll know if it's a good game within the first quarter. Because if it's close in the first quarter, we're in for a game. If Ohio State gets up 14-0, it's over. So I'm going to take Utah tentatively.
Tentative Utah.
Yeah.
I'm taking Utah as well.
Okay.
And it's not because I'm a Buckeye hater, but it's because really, if we think in the facts of life, Oregon beat Ohio State. Utah beat Oregon twice. Doesn't that mean Utah is better than Ohio State?
Exactly.
Well,
I mean, it's like I said to my friend who's a Packers fan. I said, Lions beat Vikings. Vikings beat Packers. So in theory.
the Lions are better than the Packers.
Yeah,
exactly.
So why aren't we talking about them for the Super Bowl?
Exactly. Amen. So right now, Ohio State is favored by 6.5. This is the 5 o'clock game on New Year's Day. And I think Utah... They just have I don't know what it is. I can't really pick one element of their game out, but they play a complete game, I think.
They do.
They've done that at least against Oregon. I think they'll be prepared for Ohio State.
I think it's their explosivity.
Ooh, I like that
one. Like they can just...
That's a $20 word right
Yeah,
there.
it is. They can just pop off and explode a little bit and just do stuff that you don't expect, like when they return punts for touchdowns or they get a pick six randomly. Like they just have like a moment in every game where they turn the tide.
Mm-hmm. And I think their defense is opportunistic because they
Yes,
turn the ball. They turn
opportunistic's
Oregon
another
a
good one.
lot. They turn Oregon over a lot. So that's why I think Utah is. I mean, they're going to win the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be. All right.
I guarantee they probably never won the Rose Bowl.
I'll research that while you talk about the All-State Sugar Bowl. Baylor versus Ole Miss.
This is another really good one. Is Matt Corral playing is the question. Is Matt Corral playing?
I have to look real quick.
All right, well, you check that for me also. I need both because that's the complete game changer for me.
He won't skip. He's not skipping.
All right, well, in that case, I'm going to take Ole Miss. I really like what that team is going on. I think Baylor's good team, a really good team, but I think Ole Miss is one of those teams that would be better if they were in a different conference because they play SEC. And I think Baylor's not really prepared for what Ole Miss is going to bring, Lane Kiffin and Matt Corral and everything. So I think they're a really good team. So I'm going to take Ole Miss.
I'm going to take Ole Miss as well.
There it is.
And I really, I'm not even putting my faith in the players. I'm putting my faith in Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Because I think he has lots to prove this year. So I would say...
Got a big contract.
Yes, he did. And I would say get your popcorn ready. And that's how it's going to be. And he's going to take the win. And, by the way, done some research. And this is the first appearance in the Rose Bowl by Utah. And so that'll be interesting. And Kyle Whittingham, who's been the coach there at Utah, he's been there forever. You know that guy?
I've heard the name. How long's he been there?
He's been there since 2005, I think.
Whoa.
2005. I think he's got a decent record.
He must really like it there. I like all their new stuff they got, where it's the UU and they changed it up.
Yeah.
The double U's.
Yeah,
It kind of looks cool. It kind of looks like University of Houston a little bit, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's a little play on words, double U's, because it's just two U's. It's not a W. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little letter grammar humor there. So, all right. Back to Festivus, part 3.
Hey,
Boy, am I glad to see you.
you expecting someone else?
You never know.
You know, you might want to take the tunnel.
So, what do you feel like eating, Chinese or Italian?
I could go either way.
You're telling me.
Well, happy Festivus.
What is that? Is that the pole?
George, Festivus is your heritage. It is part of who you are.
That's why I hate it.
It's a big dinner Tuesday night at Frank's house. Everyone's invited.
George, you're forgetting how much Festivus has meant to us all. I brought one of the cassette tapes. Read that poem.
I can't read it. I need my glasses.
You don't need glasses, you're just weak. You're weak.
Leave him alone!
All right, George. It's time for the Festivus Feats of Strength.
No face of strength. I'm Festivus.
We had some good times.
And we're back. First, we're going to talk about here the first semifinal of the college football playoff on New Year's Eve, and that is the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Alabama against Cincinnati, and I believe this game is at 5 o'clock, which is early.
I hate the fact they did these on New Year's Eve.
I gotta make sure that's correct. And no, I'm sorry. This is at 3:30. This is a 3:30 kickoff. Alabama's favored by 13.5. Ryan, who you taking? Bama?
First of
or
all,
Cincy?
I hate it when it's on New Year's Eve. I think it kills the whole thing because people are going to have a big party and hang out for the football playoff anyway. And now you're just putting it on a holiday. You know what I mean?
They're both. It's either going to be the 31st or the 1st.
I guess. It's just annoying. I don't like the New Year's Eve games. I really don't.
I don't really care for them spanning the whole bowl season out this long either, myself.
Yeah, like, why couldn't we just have had them the last 2 weeks right here? We're just sitting around.
Not even the last 2 weeks. I want them in the same week. I want them all in 1 week.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Not happening.
I don't really like the waiting like a full month for it.
Not going to happen for
So,
the money.
Yep. So back to the Cotton Bowl. Alabama has obviously been here. Cincinnati's never been here. So I think you have to take Alabama as much as I'm going to root for Cincinnati. But in the same sense, if you root for Cincinnati and you say, I think Cincinnati's going to win, if Cincinnati loses, who cares? He was kind of wanting them to win. If Cincinnati wins, then I look like a genius. So I'm going to take Cincinnati. Because if they lose, everyone knows it's just because I'm biased because I want to see them win. And if they win, I look like a genius. So I'm taking Cincinnati over Alabama in the Cotton Bowl.
So, here's the deal. Here's the deal of beating Alabama. Okay, you can't get in a shootout with them, which you probably have to anyway. But what you have to do is, even if you shut down the run, because the running game is awful this year, you have to cover on the pass. And I don't know if Cincinnati's good enough to cover on Alabama's receivers. So that's why I'm going to have to go with Alabama. I don't really want to go with Alabama, but I'm kind of getting stiff-armed to go with Alabama because I really didn't want the committee to put Alabama and Cincinnati up against each other. And that was me. That's my opinion. I think it should have been Alabama-Georgia because Georgia had a worse game than Michigan and Cincinnati.
Yeah, but they got to get that money from the Georgia-Alabama national title. They are terrified of the idea of Michigan being in the national.
Terrified of Michigan. But
okay, they're terrified of the idea of Cincinnati being the national title.
Yes, so
they don't like the idea of Michigan being in there because they haven't been in there in a while, and they're worried people won't watch.
That's right, Bo Schembechler. I I just don't have that much trust in Alabama this year. I mean, you've seen them. They should have lost to Auburn, should have lost to Arkansas, should have
Come
lost
take
a lot of
Cincinnati,
games.
come
So
on.
I'm not taking Cincinnati. I'm going to still take Alabama because it's Nick Saban. I mean, come on. How many times do you side against Bill Belichick, especially in this NFL season?
Yeah, never.
Not many.
Yeah,
so
never.
that's why I'm going to take Nick Saban for the Cotton Bowl Classic. I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game. I hope it's a good
I honestly
game.
think it's going to be closer than people expect.
I
I
think
could
so,
really
too.
see, like, already in my head, it's like it comes down to the last 10 minutes, and everybody's like, Cincinnati may have lost, but they proved they were a real team, you know,
Exactly.
and that type of crap.
I think Luke Fickell will have this team coached up and ready to go. So,
Oh, me too, and I really hope he doesn't leave. So
Well, I don't think he is now. The rumors were out to Notre Dame, and that's not happening.
Yep.
All right. Back to Festivus.
Hi there. This is Kramer and Frank.
Hi.
Hello.
So, you ready to go?
Why don't we stay here? The back booth just opened up. Now this is a good-looking booth.
And we're here back talking about the second semifinal of the college football playoff, the Capital One Orange Bowl, Michigan versus Georgia. This is the 7:30 kickoff on New Year's Eve. Georgia favored by 7.5. Ryan, who you taking?
Honestly, I think everybody's really underrating Michigan. And this, now the Cincinnati one, I was kind of joking around taking them. This one, I'm not joking around, like I'm being serious. I actually really think Michigan is going to win this game because I think Hutchinson is a potential number one pick, like level talent. I don't think he's Chase Young level, but he's close. I think he's like a Bosa, because I've always believed that Chase Young was like better than any Bosa.
Okay.
I think Hutchinson's Bosa level, and I mean he's a monster. It looked like McNamara has been playing pretty well.
Yep, Bob McNamara's
Obviously,
grandson.
the running backs, you know, especially what was the guy's name? I can't remember.
Who? Hassan Haskins?
Yes,
Like Corum,
Haskins.
whichever one.
Haskins was a stud against Ohio State. I mean, this team's clicking at the right time, and that's sometimes what you see in the playoff game is a team that gets rolling like Ohio State with the first ever college football playoff. They were not the best team in that. Alabama was, but they were rolling, and so they went to the national title and beat Oregon. And sometimes you get going, and you keep winning. Harbaugh just won Coach of the Year. I think this team's got it going on. I honestly think they're going to be in the national championship. Probably against Alabama. I took Cincinnati just for kicks and giggles. But I legitimately think Michigan's going to win this game. And it'd be pretty cool to see them win the national title, get a Big Ten champion in there. We've only ever had one, and it was the first ever one.
Yep, and that's
So, but either way, I think this is going to be a good game, but I think Michigan's going to pull this one out. I think Georgia's still rattled from Bama. My thought with Georgia was if they go undefeated, they can win the national title. If they lose a game and they're beatable, I think they'll lose in the playoff. That was always my thought process.
I think it's a reasonable thought.
I think Michigan's going to win it.
I'm going with Michigan as well, and I think
They're a good team.
now here's I'm just gonna and I'm taking Michigan, but here's the argument that you can say for against Michigan. Harbaugh, he is 1-4 in bowls. He's lost all 4 big bowls he's played in. Orange Bowl once already, Outback Peach and Citrus. He finally beat Ohio State for the first time this season. He's never beaten Ohio State and Michigan State in the same season. So you can always say he blows in the big game, which we do have the statistics for. But I'm going to deal in a little bit reality. I think Michigan, they can beat up that Georgia rushing defense. And I don't think they have to solely rely on Haskins running the ball because
They have committee.
McNamara can also throw it. He proved that against my team, Michigan State. So
true.
you can attack
He did play well.
Georgia outside the numbers.
Other than that interception he threw really early on.
Yeah.
But I was saying, didn't they have another running back? They were trying to go by committee.
They
and
got
then
Corum.
Yeah, and then Haskins just started cooking, so they were like, okay, keep it
Right.
in.
They've been committee the last 2 seasons, I believe. So I say I'm going to take Michigan. I think I agree with Georgia's a little rattled. And I think that Harbaugh, I mean, this is probably his best coaching job he's done since he's gotten the 49ers to the Super Bowl. So I think I'm putting the faith in him, which I shouldn't be, but I am.
My thought is this, and I'll just wrap up the point. Michigan is confident. They've surprised people. They're coming into this thinking we're underrated. We're rolling. People don't believe in us. Georgia's sitting around going, crap, guys, we're supposed to be better than this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like, confidence is a real...
psychology.
Exactly.
It's the psychology.
It's a mental game as much as
Yes.
a physical game.
Yes,
I think
it
mentally,
is.
Georgia's weak, and Michigan is strong. Like, Michigan's
Yes.
hungry, and Georgia's just trying to play defense. Like, they're
Yes.
trying to... Instead of trying to win, Georgia's trying not to lose.
Yes, I agree. I think, I mean, Kirby Smart's a good coach. He's going to have his team ready, but I just don't...
This isn't the year.
I just don't think it is. I think their quarterback play is subpar for Georgia, and we saw that against Alabama. And I think that, the Georgia defense also got skated. Let's remember, this Georgia defense gave up 7 touchdowns prior to playing Alabama in the whole season. 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then Alabama skated them for what? 5? So I think that should be a
To
point.
me, Georgia's like a souped-up Iowa.
Well, but they play better offense.
They play better off. That's what I'm saying. They're souped up. They're like the better version of Iowa.
Yeah.
And Michigan pretty much tore up Iowa. So
Yeah.
my thought is if they can figure that out against if Iowa's a 6 out of 10, well, you're playing the 10 out of 10 Iowa. Can you beat it?
I think also that their pass rush will get home to Stetson Bennett in the backfield like Alabama's did as well. So I see them rattling. All right.
Kramer, hi.
Oh, hello.
It's Gwen. We met at the coffee shop. I'm dating your friend Jerry.
I don't know who you really are, but I've seen Jerry's girlfriend, and she's not you. You're much better looking, and like a foot taller.
That's why we're always hiding in that coffee shop. He's afraid of getting caught.
Oh, he's a tomcat.
And we're back for a little happy time here on the Festivus special. And the only happy time we have here on Festivus are the 2 parts to celebrate this holiday, which are the airing of grievances for the sports world. And what's your airing of... You got a grievance you want to air against...
Yeah.
I've
got a couple.
All right, I got a couple as well.
So my first one, since we're just talking about college football, I'll bring up is that we need to explain the playoff. I don't like 4. I want it to be 8. I mean, look at the FCS. Look how much fun they're having over there. Like, they get a good 16-team tournament. Just do half that and it'd be fun. And there are some people I know, like you friends of mine, or they're like, oh, well, 4's the best. I'm like, well, you said that when it was 2, and now you're like, well, 4's best. It's whatever you have, you're gonna think is best. It's a matter of finding what's legitimately best. The guys who mess it up are the guys who go on their sports shows and they want to get views on YouTube clips. So they make, like, what's the guy that did a 12-team playoff and had, like, Utah ranked 4th in his rankings? Like,
I don't know.
he did something like that. And then people were like, that's why we can't have 12 teams, because that crap like that'll happen. I'm like, no, it's called that guy ranked them wrong. You go by the regular rankings that ESPN, the committee that ESPN has for the playoff does, and then you just make it 8 teams. You don't need bye weeks. Just do 8. 8 is the best, because then everybody plays first round, second round, and then, yeah. Best way to do it. So 8 teams. My second one is the MLB lockout, and I respect the players' decision. I'm saying, owners, you got to get it together. We got to have some baseball because
it's a strike. It's a lockout. It's not a strike.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So it's the owner's fault, and I'm saying I really like my MLB. I think you had a really good season last year with a really weak playoff, oddly. Like, the season last year was awesome, and then playoff came, and, like, overall, it wasn't really a crazy exciting playoff. Most games weren't close. World Series wasn't really incredibly interesting. There wasn't really a good narrative to follow. The Braves narrative was never really the best narrative. There wasn't a very good narrative there. The Astros narrative the Astros narrative was there, and no one really was there for it. I tried to be there for it, but even I got bored of it. So, last year's playoff was weak, but the season was amazing. So I think part of the issue they got going on, and I don't really know how to fix this other than get better, Angels, is that your most exciting players aren't on very good teams at the moment.
Correct.
Like Tatis, the Padres were supposed to be, and they fell apart. And I'm saying, like,
Ohtani and
Trout, the 2 best players in the MLB.
Harper, he's locked up in Philadelphia.
Exactly. And so I'm saying, like, your MVPs were both on teams that didn't make playoffs. And that's common with baseball, which is sad, but, like,
it wasn't common.
Nowadays it's common. Like, this is because we're used to Trout.
I think it was the first time in 24, 25 years that both were not on.
No, I wasn't about MVPs. I'm saying it's common in baseball to have the best player not on the team anymore because it's like that's the way it's been in the last 20 years. It's like your best players have been on some of the worst teams. But you're right. I think it was like first time in a while that both MVPs didn't make playoffs, and that's sad. Like you're going to get more viewership and your playoffs going to be more interesting the better, more interesting players you have. And when your World Series teams don't have the exciting players, that really hurts your viewership and it hurts your marketing. So you got to figure that out, owners. Like Baez just went to the Tigers, making them more interesting. The Rangers are more interesting now with Simeon and all that. So they spent over like $500 million in free agency in like 2 days. So I'm saying like having the Rangers be interesting, that could be a team that gets viewership. But the thing is, if they just slouch and they don't play that well and it takes a couple of years, well, then it's like your viewer. I'm saying that's not going to help you out because then it's just, everybody's got a couple superstars, but no one's really amazing. And we don't need to be like Yankees Dodgers all the time where there's just two stacked teams.
Yes.
But I'm saying there needs to be, I don't really know how to fix it other than the teams with good players go get better players alongside them Angels. Like, you have the two best players in the league. Go get good players to be with them. I mean, I guess they got Syndergaard, but really the only team that I think really goes out of their way to get better, there's like three, and it's Yankees and it doesn't work, Dodgers and it works sadly, and then Mets. Those are really the only three that go out of their way to do things.
Mets now, yes.
Yes, Cohen.
Under Steve Cohen.
Cohen's Mets, yeah. And, he's going out of his way to make them a big team, and I like it. So, that's why I wear their hat all the time anymore, is what I really like what they're doing. And I also think it's funny because, I wore this hat to the Spider-Man showing because Spider-Man's famously a Mets fan, and, of course, Seinfeld is too. So it's a good combo. Two of my favorite characters, and one of them's real. I wish Jerry Seinfeld was real. It'd be pretty cool. So, trying to think if I have any other sports groups. Those are always my big two. And by always, I mean in the last month.
All right.
My only other thing,
grievance,
is against sports fandom. And stop sleeping on my Cavs. Fourth best record in the East.
I'm not sleeping on anybody.
Come on. There's only two teams Eastern Conference that are better than the Cavs, and it's the Nets and the Bucks. And take a look at those rosters. Giannis is a once-in-a-generation talent, and so is KD. Yes, the Bulls aren't better than the Cavs. They just have better.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll beat the Bulls. Don't worry.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm saying KD's a once-in-a-generation talent. Same thing with Giannis. Those are two of the greatest players of all time. They're both top 15, potentially top 10 when they retire. So, what?
Let's just slow the roll there.
You're always very big on the oldie guys, I know.
Because everybody forgets about him.
I know. I'm not arguing.
Trying to replace, Bill Russell with Giannis, and that's not even close.
No, they're not the same person. Giannis should be compared to Kareem, but doesn't play like Kareem. He doesn't play like Kareem. His just career trajectory is similar.
Maybe.
Except he didn't leave. Except he didn't leave like a sucker. So, never respected Kareem for that, guys. He left Milwaukee for the money. Can't believe him.
He wasn't happy in Milwaukee.
I know he wasn't. I'm kidding. So. He's fine. I actually don't really have anything against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I actually quite like him. He's a cool guy. Every interview I ever see with him.
On the phone too?
Yeah, he's pretty nice. He came over one time and we ate dinner. So, I'm saying stop sleeping on my Cavs. Just because we don't have a guy like out of the young teams, like they all got like somebody super like crazy exciting that's hyped up, like LaMelo Ball. Obviously, he's like the main one. Like Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, even though the Celtics are disappointing like always. Like there's always some, big young guy. Ours is like Garland and Jared Allen, but like they're probably both all-stars this year. I think one of them will, but probably Garland has better odds than Allen. But Allen is the fan favorite. I'm partially saying that because he's my favorite, but overall Cavs fans really like Jared Allen. So, I think Mobley is our guy that's going to be our like super stud. Like he's going to be rookie of the year this year. He's amazing. And out of the top 3 picks, he was one that people were least excited about. And he right now is the best one. I think when everything's said and done, Jalen Green might be the best one, but Mobley right now looks like a stud. He's like Chris Bosh, like a modern Chris Bosh. Like if Chris Bosh started in this day's NBA and would like start shooting earlier on, that's That's Mobley. So I love what the Cavs got going on. I think we got to figure out what we're doing with Sexton. And past that, I mean, I think they're a legitimate contender if they keep playing this way. They had the toughest schedule in the NBA in like the first couple months, and they're the fourth best record. So I'll be going up to a game probably pretty soon, and I'm pretty excited. So
there you go. Taking the girl.
I don't know yet. I just threw that out there. I have literally made no plans. I'm just saying I do want to make sure I get up there.
There you go. You gotta watch a game. I only got one grievance there, and that is over the use of analytics. And
oh crap! I do that.
Done with, Harbaugh. This time, John Harbaugh is an idiot because he blew 3 games where he was trying to go for 2, always just to get the tie or the win. He blew it in Pittsburgh. He blew it against the Browns early on when he went for 2. And then he blew it against Green Bay. So instead of siding with the analytics to say it's a better percentage to take the 2, to go for 2 and try and take the win, kick it with the best NFL kicker of all time statistically. Why would you not take that choice with Justin Tucker? So that is the difference right now possibly between the Ravens being 10-4, maybe 11-3, and having the number 1 seed in the AFC, and being 8-6, and looking on the outside looking in the 8th spot right now. So that's all I got to say about that. I don't know if we have any feats of strength, do we? I don't think we do.
I have feats of strength.
You do?
So what we'll do, this is my thought.
Okay.
Because we usually improvise stuff like this, is feats of strength. You're going to name a few things that you find impressive. That's a feat of strength.
Okay.
So for example, I think a feat of strength, one of my feats of strength, is the fact that the Chiefs turned their entire season around.
Okay. That's reasonable.
You think it's pretty good? So, I mean, the Chiefs have went from, the number 1 Mahomie, he's the best. Mahomes is the best.
I don't know it's really his play. It's more of the defense instead.
True. But the team has turned it around, and they look like a contender. I think they're a legitimate contender now. I don't think they're beating the Super Bowl. I did have a dream when they won it, though, but I don't think it was a premonition. I've had those before. They're very different. That was my premonition was the Chargers-Patriots one. I had that one in the shower. I wasn't asleep. I hit my head.
You were just groggy in the
shower.
I
hit my head on the shower head.
That was only in the AFC Championship because
I came to, I realized it was Patriots-Chargers, and I saw Mac Jones holding up the fist against the scoreboard, and it read Patriots win.
Obviously, the Patriots were going to the Super Bowl then.
What? No, that was just Patriots-Chargers, this regular season game they played.
Oh!
Remember when I texted you?
Yes.
That was that game. I'm kidding. I didn't hit my head or anything, but that'd be pretty wild. It just randomly hit me. I was like, I feel like you're going to win. But the point is, Chiefs are not going to win the Super Bowl, but feat of strength, turning their season around. Another feat of strength, Bill Belichick making Mac Jones the heir apparent. That is a feat of strength. In 1 year, turning that guy into the guy we all thought he'd be in, 3-4 years? We thought it'd take a little bit.
Well.
And boom, he's in it. He's there. He's stud. Rookie of the year. Would have been Jamar if he wouldn't have fallen off. He's still really good, but Jamar slowed down a little bit. They figured out how to play in better coverage. Mm-hmm. So, he'll have a really good career, but I'm saying he slowed him down a little bit. Not everybody's Justin Jefferson. And that's fine. Not everybody needs to be Justin Jefferson. He's like the new Randy Moss. So, legitimately, not even the fact he plays for the Vikings. He's exciting. He's the most exciting receiver in the league. He's incredibly good.
I see the statistics.
Feat of strength. Another one. Kirk Cousins. He's played like a top 10 quarterback this year.
Except for on Monday night. Right?
Yeah, true. But I'm saying he's been very good. He's proven that he can legitimately be the guy for the Vikings.
He is a top 10 quarterback, but he statistically, but he can never get the wins. You know his overall. You want to know his overall record is?
Not good.
58-2, exactly.
Eli
500.
Manning type.
So yes, so I think he could lead a team to a Super Bowl, but he's got to get on a better team that has better defense and consistently wins.
Vikings used to be known for their defense, but
purple people eaters.
Yeah. Another feat of strength.
You got another one?
I've got a couple, man. I was really thinking on this.
You're going on 4, so yeah.
I'll do 5.
You're going for 5?
Yeah,
I think I got 1.
Okay.
So
another feat of strength. This one goes out. This one goes out to Marvel Studios, and there's a preview for episode 20 of the podcast.
Okay.
No Way Home. Haven't got my review out, but I just want to say it was a feat of strength. So I don't even want to give anything else, so I don't spoil my review.
I haven't listened to that episode yet. So.
Well, it's not even out yet. So I just did the episode talking about my hype for it. The next episode is my review featuring my entire ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies up to this point.
I see.
And the official 2021 Sort of Sports Podcast Film and TV Awards from yours truly. So
okay.
I will be naming the best TV show of 2021 in my opinion. The best.
Just singular TV show, as in within a series, or as you say.
Here's how I did it. If the series released a new season in the last year, that series was eligible as the entire series.
Okay, and you have to have watched it. So
yes,
anything that's
the
not watched
thing.
by Ryan,
That's the thing.
Don't even think about it.
And that's the thing with television. I was just talking to my mother the other day about television.
It's such a wide array now.
Yes, and television is as good, if not overall better, than movies anymore.
Oh.
I mean, there is probably like let's say every year.
Hold on.
Wait, let me lay it out. Can I lay it out? Can I lay it out? Can I lay it out? Can I lay it out?
Lay it out, but I'm going to air my grievance.
I think overall every year there's probably 5 to 10 out of 10 amazing movies. Whereas in television there usually seems to be like 20 or 20 plus. I'm serious. And here's why that is because you get a really good TV show in 2015, you're still running it now with a new season.
Right.
Whereas you get a really good movie idea, by now you've probably burnt all your ideas.
Yeah.
So, and usually really good movies, like your more artsy stuff, doesn't get a sequel. So, and if you are really good and you do get a sequel like Dune, it's going to take a lot of time.
Yep.
So, that's my point. Is part of that, but I'm saying what sucks about the way television's gone is you tell me, watch this really good TV show, that might be a 10-hour thing to watch one season. Whereas watching a movie, just 2 hours. So that's what sucks, is that I don't get to watch as much TV as I wish because it takes so much time.
Bernie? Can I give Bernie
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, but you just said, when we started this podcast, you said, quote, NBC just puts out 10 new shows. They're just hoping to get one to stick so they could get some money made. So now you're coming back.
I'm not talking about network television.
What are you talking about then?
Streaming television.
Okay, well that's different.
It's TV shows. Those are TV shows.
They are, but you're separating the category now. It's just streaming.
I do not. When I say best TV show of 2021, I'm talking about overall cable and streaming.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
I mean, so what I think is the best show of 2020. Last year would have been The Last Dance. This year, I don't reveal it. So this year there was a show that released a new season.
Okay.
And
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
It was not this. I didn't watch it. See, here's my thing though, and I have to do a disclaimer for when everybody listens to the episode: is that I do not watch a ton of television. There's a handful of shows, like probably like television as in like streaming shows, like drama shows, right? I will watch a lot of Seinfeld and like little shows like that. I can watch 1 or 2 episodes, go to bed. Whereas like a big show like
get into Law and Order, I'll get you into that.
I don't know if I'll like that. I mean, I'll try it.
No.
But I'm saying like there's shows that I really like. Like I really like the show Psych, but like I don't watch it all the time because it's an hour long. And I mean I like watching Magnum PI for kicks and giggles.
Which one? Today's or with
old one, Selleck.
Yeah,
I love those.
Selleck, yeah.
They're the perfect amount of cheese yet like actually pretty interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
So I really like that about that show. I enjoy the cheesiness. They're like the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans where like they're kind of really goofy and cheesy, but you love it about them. So I like the Selleck PIs, but like I don't watch them a ton because it's like takes an hour and you only get to watch one. So it's like overall I watch a good amount of television, but like if I'm not watching a sports thing on television, I'm probably just watching a little sitcom to burn 30 minutes and I got to do something else. So like there's only a handful of shows I will set up, I'm going to watch all of Stranger Things or I'm going to watch all of, like I just watched the first 2 episodes of Succession and the last week I haven't watched any more because it's like it takes a lot of time, whereas a movie, I sit down once, 2 hours, bam.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was Succession, I'd only watch 2 episodes.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective. So I think, and I don't like binging shows really, so I think when I have more time on my hands, I can do that, but for the time being, I don't get to watch as much television as I'd like because I'm more concerned with my movie going. I mean, I did go see Spider-Man Far From Home 3 times in 4 days. So,
Hey, that was your prerogative.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a full, 7.5 hours of Spider-Man, and I enjoyed that. Spider-Mans. So.
Spider-Man.
There it is. That's a good one. So the final feat of strength is the Cleveland Cavaliers and J.B. Bickerstaff. Coach of the Year, J.B. Bickerstaff. Way to turn my franchise around. Way to make me proud. If we get that Bucks Cavs Eastern Conference Finals that I've been dreaming of, I'm rooting Cavs,
Is it a
baby.
premonition or whatever you say?
Oh, I'd love it. And that was not a premonition. I'm sad. I don't think I'm that lucky. Like, I'm not lucky enough to get Bucks Cavs. Okay. If I am, I'll flip out, and we'll get an entire podcast just talking about that series and all the matchups.
I think you should. I think that happens. You are doing that. I think you're signed up for it.
I mean, that is as good as us getting a Panthers-Steelers Super Bowl. Like, that's that big of a deal. Except instead of the battle of Quinn and Ryan, it's the battle of Ryan and Ryan.
Why? Oh yeah, of that.
The Cavs Bucks is the battle of my heart. It's my favorite player ever against my favorite team ever. It's the ultimate battle. And so no, we have to at some point in our lives we have to get that Panthers Steelers Super Bowl. By then we might be on like season 30 of Big Salad. But
I'll be in the White House by then, so
you'll have to call me and do the podcast. We'll have to do it live.
I guess.
I don't want to have to, go through all the Secret Service every time. That's such a hassle.
Just sneak into the ground. You can't. You gotta get to the
Then they write a book about me like 20 years later, and it's like The Man in the Garage, and it was like the guy who snuck into the White House to record his podcast.
House garage. We gotta
there it is. You got to get the people coming in. The man who snuck in the White House every day. ... for a podcast.
We'll have your mom write it.
Yeah, there it is. My aunt.
You're right. Yes, both of them. They can co-write it together. I have a grievance I forgot to give.
Okay.
And it's right now over the Batman movie that's coming out because it's not a trilogy. And Robert Pattinson was just quoted in the media big time that he wants to make it a trilogy. It's supposed to be a standalone film. So hopefully
they're liars.
They better be turning it into a trilogy.
It'll be a trilogy because what's going to happen is it's going to make way too much money.
Yes, it is.
And it's going to make
Robert Pattinson.
It's going to make Spider-Man No Way Home money, which, right now is insane how much,
110 million.
No, it's higher than that, Quinn. It's the highest.
270 million.
It made more in its opening weekend than Infinity War did. And this is post-pandemic, obviously, so this is a big old freaking deal. 751 million in a week.
Globally.
In a week, though. Yes. That's insane.
That's Harry Potter record.
Yeah, that's nuts. Let me get to just domestic so you can see.
Real quick, my feat of strength is Steph Curry breaking the all-time three-point record.
That's a good one.
So, even though I feel bad for Larry Bird and Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, it was actually kind of nice that they were there watching.
I really like the jerseys.
At Madison Square Garden, one of the iconic places to play basketball.
I actually thought if he wasn't going to break it in San Fran, MGS is the best.
Yes, it is.
You couldn't have written it up better. If the NBA's rigged, good choice. So I really hope it's not, though. I don't think it is. I always have to give the disclaimer. Domestic, $328 million. So that is a lot of money. That, I think already, this is Spider-Man No Way Home is, let me check, but I'm pretty sure it is already, top 5 in money in the week.
Well, we can't really count this whole year because, we pandemic, theaters were closed. We can't really count them.
Yeah, domestic box office, it's already the highest. And this movie they're basically saying is saving theaters, and studios are now becoming more confident in releasing things in theaters. Yeah, it's already fourth.
I don't know why they wouldn't be confident to begin with. This is how movies have worked forever.
I know that, Quinn, but I'm saying
they're dum-dums.
Yeah, I know they're dumb for that.
The world of streaming is going to be the next thing.
And it's not.
Not everybody wants a subscription.
It's a sub. It's a
HBO Max to watch every release.
It's a subgenre of movies. I'm saying it is not the main course. Now, all right. So all Spider-Man has to make is 150 million within the next month, which it will, to be the highest-grossing movie of the year.
Well, but what about the Battle of Shang-Chi? That might grow more.
That came out a while ago, though. I know it did.
I don't know when it came out, so I never heard of that movie.
Yeah, it came out a month ago. So
okay.
It only came out in. It had a UK release that made $63,000. Yeah, it's a big. I think it's Chinese, right? No, it's not Chinese. It's Korean. It's a Korean film. So, interesting. But Spider-Man will probably break $1 billion. First movie since the whole shutdown to make $1 billion. That's a pretty big deal, and that's a feat of strength.
There you go.
It's a good one.
All right, big finish this week. And for the Festivus special, because it's not going to be about games, because we already picked our games, it's going to be about we're putting Christmas movies head to head. And I didn't put one in here that I want to do, and I'm going to throw it in there randomly.
Start with that?
Nope, it's going to be after the first one. It's going to be the second one.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So, let's make sure we're ready. And we got 3 minutes this time, so we got plenty of time to talk about these Christmas movies. So, here we go for the big finish. Now, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer against Frosty the Snowman.
I always have preferred one of these because I think it's got more fun music, and while I like Frosty better as a character, I think Rudolph's a much more interesting story, and I like the whole. Is that the one with the toys and the Misfit toys?
No,
that's not the different
that
one. That's a different one.
That's
the original one. I think is just. I mean, it carries off. It's pretty fun how they made it the exact story of the song and everything. So I think it's a fun one. I like how angry his dad is. I think it's humorous. So I mean, I watch like hardly. I don't think I've watched like a Christmas movie like this since I was like 12 and under.
I don't know what you're doing.
But like I watch like Christmas movies. I watch are more like the comedy ones. Like I don't really watch.
You gotta watch the classics and the. But which one are you taking?
Rudolph.
Okay, you're taking Rudolph.
Yeah.
I'm taking Frosty because I like Jimmy Durante narrating it and his singing as well. I think it's a good story. I think they brought that song to life as well.
When he melts, it's really sad. I don't like when he starts melting.
Well, no, it's when the hat gets blown off. Remember?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So. All right, the secret one I'm sneaking in. Frosty's sequels. Frosty's Winter Wonderland or Frosty Returns. Which one are you taking there?
Can you run me through the plot of each of those?
Winter Wonderland, Frosty finds a wife. Jack Frost tries to take her away, and take him away. Frosty Returns, that's when Frosty comes back, and Mr. Twitchell creates this thing called Summer Wheeze where you just spray the snow and it goes away.
Oh, I've seen that one. I liked that one. I really liked that one. I like the Summer Wheeze one. I remember how bad that guy was. I was like, ooh, he's a bad dude.
Yeah, and he's looking creepy, too, in
animation.
I gotta take the Winter Wonderland one because Andy Griffith is the narrator, and
I get that. I like Andy. I love Andy Griffith.
So, all right, Santa Claus is coming to town against The Year Without a Santa Claus. You like the Burgermeister or the Misers?
I'm gonna do The Year Without Santa Claus. I think I've seen these each one time. So.
Okay, you got to get educated in these Christmas movies. I'm taking that one as well because how can you give up the Heat Miser, Cold Miser song? I mean,
that's true. That is a good. I
You
forgot
have
that
to
was in
take
that, so that's good.
So, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 1966 cartoon versus the Jim Carrey movie.
I think the Carrey movie's fun, but the original is like one of the best Christmas movies in my opinion. So like that is a cartoon I have actually watched recently.
Yes.
I watched that I think last year. Yeah. So there it is.
I got to air my grievance over that because NBC's not playing How the Grinch Stole Christmas on TV until Christmas night. So I don't know why,
okay.
But I agree. 1966 cartoon. Boris Karloff is narrator there.
Yeah, he's great in that.
He is fantastic. Home Alone versus Home Alone 2.
I think 2 is a really, like, comedy sequels are rare to be good, and it's really impressive how they pulled it off, but 1's the one I always watch, so 1.
I'm taking, I think they're both fantastic, but I'm going to take 2 because for some reason I like him running around New York better, and Tim Curry and Rob Schneider and their little comedy duo.
I love Tim Curry.
And the Plaza Hotel.
Now, and I didn't know this. John Hughes wrote Home Alone.
Yes, you know that?
No, I mean, can we just give a quick feat of strength? Quick feat of strength here. I was just sitting around and I was like, because I know John Hughes is like one of the best screenwriters ever. But
Our
like,
3 minutes is
let's
up, by
run
the
through.
way.
I know. It's fine. We never follow it. I mean, have we ever really hit it?
We have.
We have?
Once. Our first time we did it, in 90 seconds, we hit it in 84.
Nice.
So that's how we do it.
All right, so John Hughes, we'll just run through this really quick. This impressive run. He writes Mr. Mom, He Helps on Vacation, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, European Vacation, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller, Some Kind of Wonderful, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Then he does She's Having a Baby in the Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck. Then Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, Career Opportunities, Dutch, Curly Sue. Then Home Alone, as in the video game, which I think is a classic. I was kidding. I just knew that game existed for the Genesis.
He's got
Beethoven, which I really like that movie. That's a fun one. Home Alone 2. Dennis the Menace. I did not know he helped on that. And then the characters, of course, were taken for Beethoven's second. So, he wrote Flubber, too. So,
there you go.
I mean, there's a lot of movies there, but like Planes, Trains, Automobiles, Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club. Like,
he's got some cult classics there.
Home Alone, like those are some good ones.
So.
But my favorite's got to be, I like Ferris Bueller a lot. But
there you go. Favorite John Hughes film. A Muppet Christmas Carol versus Elf.
Oh crap! You put two really good ones against each other. We used to watch Elf back in school. Did you guys ever watch Elf back
I
in
just
school?
want to let you know that Kennedy just talked about this last night. 5th through 8th grade, you guys watched it every year.
Yeah, and I liked that. That was pretty fun. That's a fun one because like it's actually the perfect balance between like the more comedy like Christmas Vacation, Home Alone ones, and the more like Christmassy Santa like Rudolph stuff. Like it balances it. I mean, there's not a lot that are in between there, you know, and that's a fun in between. But dude, anytime it's a Muppets movie, I love the Muppets movies. I'm gonna take the Muppet Christmas.
I'm with you. It's a Muppet Christmas Carol because I can't stand Elf. I can't do Will Ferrell in that role. Sorry, I can't.
That's his big role, dude. That's what
No,
propelled
he's
him.
got other things. All right, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation versus Christmas with the Cranks.
It's got to be Vacation. That's a classic. It's got to be.
Yeah, this is actually a tough one for me because I like both. I don't know if you've ever seen Christmas with the Cranks. Tim Allen, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep, it was on TV
I think they're
one
both
time.
kind of. I think they're both kind of funny, but I am gonna go with Christmas Vacation. I don't know, maybe Cousin Eddie puts it over
Vacation's probably my favorite. Christmas Vacation is one of the few Christmas movies I'd watch anytime. Like it's good enough of a comedy I'd watch not even Christmas time. So
Well, there you
that's
go.
probably my favorite Christmas movie.
It's a Wonderful Life versus A Christmas Carol with Patrick Stewart.
I think I've watched half of It's a Wonderful Life on television one time, so we're going with that. I know it's supposed to be really good.
You haven't watched Christmas Carol with Patrick Stewart? That's the best one as Scrooge.
I do love
So-
Jean-Luc Picard. I do like Patrick Stewart.
There you go.
He's also Professor X.
I like both of them. I'm going to go with It's a Wonderful Life as well. I've watched that full way twice. Took me a while to get to that, but I did. Trading Places versus A Christmas Story.
I love Eddie Murphy, but yeah, you know I've never watched Trading Places all the way through.
I know. I don't know what you're doing in your life.
And we always watch Christmas Story on Christmas Eve, so I gotta take that.
Okay.
They run it on TV
It's
for a
Trading
reason.
Places. It's the best Christmas movie ever. While I do condemn Dan Aykroyd wearing blackface in his culture and the cultural attitudes towards black people in that, it's still a very good, and it's actually kind of modern sociologically because they talk about social environment more than the bet between the Dukes is social environment affects people more than genetics, which is true.
That's
backed
very
by
true.
research.
Yeah.
So there you go. I like that's what's made it interesting. All right, the Santa Claus versus the Charlie Brown Christmas.
The Santa Claus is nuts, and it's funny that way, but Charlie Brown Christmas is a classic. Everybody loves that, so you gotta go with that.
Yes, Charlie Brown Christmas. I'm here with that as well. I mean, how can you not pass up Linus and Lucy, the song, not the people? And finally, Polar Express versus A Nightmare Before Christmas.
I don't like either of these. I really don't like Polar Express.
Oh!
I hate Polar Express. That's my take that makes everybody mad. I think that movie's like not interesting at all. I think Tom Hanks is doing the best with what he can do. The story's uninteresting. I don't like any of the characters. I think the whole thing is just kind of dopey. I don't like it. I think the whole thing just kind of... It's trying really hard to be like deep and have some like inspirational meaning, but it doesn't really have anything. It's like this giant cake, but when you cut... And it looks so pretty, and you cut into it, and there's nothing inside of it. There's no dough, so...
Well,
I'm going with Nightmare Before Christmas, plus because they make all that money off merch, so they're doing something right. I mean, you know how many freaking, what's the guy's name in that?
who, Jack Skellington?
Yeah, like, you know how much stuff you see of him anymore?
Yes, I do.
It's crazy how
I
much
do.
money they make off him.
Polar Express used to be one of my favorites as a child. And I don't know. I really... this is a tougher one for me. I think I'm going to have to... I'll go with Nightmare Before Christmas because I'm always good for a good Tim Burton film. I mean, I can't pass
He knows
that
what he's
up.
doing. He's a weirdo, but he knows what he's doing.
Danny Elfman on the music, so...
I mean, he's got... I mean, the Spider-Man theme he wrote is awesome.
Yes. And he's coming back for another Tim Burton film. I forget what he's doing next, but he's doing something.
How to look at Burton's doing. Yeah.
But, all right. As we close out Festivus, we wish you on a great day of airing grievances and feats of strength. Put up your metal pole and don't get the tinsel out because it's distracting. Frank, close us out.
You nailed you on the 20 G's?
Busted cold.
It's made from aluminum. Very high strength to weight ratio.
I find your belief system fascinating.